Yo, what's good, people? We back at it. We doing another episode, of course, of the What's the Word with LJ Mental podcast. And as always, I'm your host with the most, LJ. We back in here. The episode is gonna be posted a little later today, but it's still Wednesday. We doing it in the evening. We have some things to do, some things to take care of, but we still up in here, still bringing you these episodes weekly, and we up in here. So let's get right up into it. So my word of the week, we gonna call it openness. And for a few reasons, right? So yeah, damn, this chair be tripping. Anyway, I'm sure everybody in the U.S. Shout out to everybody that's listening outside the U.S. as well. Appreciate you for watching this on YouTube or listening to my podcast. Appreciate you. Everybody in the U.S., man. Everybody's talking about this election. It's been divided. It's always been a divided country for years. Even not just before this election. It's just more. People are more blatantly open with their racism when Trump got in office, and now the election is over. And I see businesses as I drive around. Businesses is boarded up. People still on the side where people voted for Trump. People are upset. They think that it was a hoax, and there's a lot of people love to use that term, fake news. And also that this election is rigged, that the mail-in ballots are fraud. There's a lot of fraud going on according to Trump. I'm not saying there's fraud going on, but Trump's words and his supporters actually believe this. So I'm just saying that we all need to be open, no matter what side you're on, what your beliefs are. We really need to be more open because it's crazy out here, and we gotta really be willing to learn from each other. Now, if you know somebody is blatantly wrong and saying something idiotic, then I don't see nothing wrong with correcting it. But I think as a whole, everybody just needs to have an open mind, and we need to really have openness in our heart. And I was prepared to say that too. Even if no matter who won, you still gotta live your life. And I got friends that was stressing over this election. And even though I'm not a Trump supporter, but at the end of the day, you still gotta live your life. You still gotta keep it pushing. And I'm happy he didn't win, but either way, we gotta keep it pushing. And we need to grow together. And no matter who won, now Biden and Kamala Harris, we need to be on their ass, like for real. You got a plan. We need to come at them with our plans, and get things going. Like seriously, like this is just the beginning. Like this ain't like no Super Bowl parade where you just won the big game. Like nah, we got a lot of work to do. This is just the beginning. Them winning an election is just the start of something that could hopefully be great. Get things back on track in this country. To let's not use that term of make America great again, because it was never great for everybody in America. This country was built on systemic racism, built on the backs of black people who were slaves, and not just black people have been discriminated against. So many other races have as well. At the end of the day, we got to come together and come up with a plan, and we do have to have an open mind. And I'll be willing to listen. And like I said before, I'm independent. Like if I might have some ideals that fall along the lines of Democrats, there might be some ideals that I have that fall along the lines of Republican. But overall, I'm not either. I don't consider myself a Democrat, never have, and never consider myself Republican either. So I've always been, I like some ideals from both sides. But at the end of the day, it's all about having an open mind. And I think that's the main thing we need to embrace wherever we're going in life, and come up with our plan. And we have to do things in our own community. Like Like seriously, we need to keep in touch with things locally, like whether you moved out of town somewhere like I did, like being from somewhere else, get involved in that local community, and even hopefully you can go back to your home, wherever your hometown is, and get back to your hometown as well. But yeah, we got a lot of work to do. Congratulations to Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but this is just the beginning. We gotta get it cracking, and yeah, ready to go with that. Now, the next thing I want to address is this has been weighing on my mind a lot, right? As far as having COVID, as far as not just having COVID, but just COVID in general, this coronavirus, this pandemic in general, has been crazy because, man, it's obviously changed all of our lives, how we do things, and I see a lot of people that's intelligent, that's adapting, and we've all had to adapt. I was forced to try new things and adapt. This podcast, for one, is something that I've been wanting to do for quite some time, but really seeing somebody I know, it helped push me even more. I mean, I'm self-motivated, but just seeing certain things in place, you can't never be afraid to try something new. And go back to that term, openness, have an open mind, and be willing to learn, because none of us know everything. I don't care how much you know, we all can learn something. But yeah, with this pandemic changing everything, it's been a real challenge, and you had no choice but to adapt. And it's really, I've been thinking, like, because they announced, I think it was Fauci that announced that it might have the vaccine. Now Trump is saying for months that we're gonna have the vaccine by election or by the end of the year, and whether it was available to the general public or not, we don't know that wasn't gonna be the case, but it was looking like they're going to have a vaccine by the end of the year, and possibly roll out to the general public by springtime. I don't know how I feel about it. I actually don't trust this vaccine at all, because you just never know. And I have my own theories about how they're trying to get us chipped in, trying to keep track of us. I mean, they already can keep track of us. All of us in this around the world have smartphones, so we can already track what we're doing. And there's actually an interesting documentary on Netflix that kind of talks about, just from a social media aspect, but when you think about it, it gets to a bigger scale of how much, like, not just the government, but people who control these apps, they really know what you're doing, and they basically can control you. It's crazy, and it's all, to me, is all a setup, and that's a theory. That's another theory that I'm not gonna fully get into on this episode, but it's something that I wanted to talk about for a little minute, and it's really crazy, right? Because you just, it's just wild, because you just never know what really you are doing, really. How many hours you're spending on your phone, what you watch, what you go on a doctor for. And also that flu shot, that's another thing. I never even trusted that. So this vaccine, yeah, this is a whole different scale, because in our lifetime we never seen this pandemic like this. So it's, I don't know how I feel about it, and maybe I'll see how it is, and where is there gonna be like a new normal? Will there be? I've been asking these questions, wondering. Nobody really knows the answer right now, except God. But no person no human on this earth knows the answer right now. We're working towards getting to an answer, but we really don't know, because we really trying to figure it out. We working as and going along as we can, but is there going to be a time again where nobody's going to wear masks? I know in certain states people aren't wearing masks, and there's not really a mandate. for masks in certain areas, but overall, like, will there be a time where we won't need masks and people won't be in danger of getting the coronavirus? Me actually having the coronavirus, I'm definitely more cautious now. Not that I didn't believe, because I mean, there's people out there that still believe it's a hoax and it's fake and it's. I'm somebody that had it, so I know for a fact that's not the case. That it's real, and I'm just been chilling. Like I ain't really. I'm just been trying to work. That's it. Just grind and work. I ain't really been around too many people lately. I mean, I see my people when I can, but for the most part, I ain't really been around too many people. As a whole, we can do something over FaceTime or Zoom, whatever. That's cool, but I haven't really been around too many people as of late because of this pandemic. And I'm just wondering, like, man, will we ever get to a time where we won't need masks? Like, I've really been wondering that. Like, will we get back to how it was 2019 and years prior, where we can go to big festivals, go to big concerts, go to big events? Because everything that's still on pause right now. We're like big as far as major events such as music festivals, or it's yeah. I'm really wondering, like, man, will we ever get back to that? Because we really don't know. And who knows? I mean, Fauci said that it could be 2022 or we'll see a new normal. But what does that even look like? How do we know? We really don't. And I think China, I haven't been followed as of late, but I remember when they first, their numbers started decreasing in China, and they tried to get back to what considered a new normal. I actually need to check up on that, but that was the first little glimpse on what it would look like. Because in the U.S., we were still under major quarantine throughout the country. But as a whole, it's really hard to determine where do we go from here. And doing everything we can, and I hope. And this goes back to what I'm saying about openness. Have your open mind. Come on, people, wear your mask. I know it's annoying, it's frustrating, but you gotta wear a mask for real. And just to protect not just yourself, but other people around you. If you don't care about if you don't give a damn about the other people, regardless, at least give a damn about yourself. Like, seriously, don't just be walking around here lollygagging stuff thinking, oh, I ain't gonna get it, like, oh, F these people, all that. Even if that's unfortunate if you feel that way, but even if you do, at least protect yourself, care about yourself, and by doing that, you will protect other people. So that's how I think people should look at it. So me, I wanna protect and help people around me anyway. But yeah, at least that's the number one key. You gotta protect yourself overall, because we still don't know, like, how this virus is, if it's in the air around us. I'm doing everything I can to prevent it. Like, got all my hand sanitizers, got my disinfectant around. Got some hand sanitizer right here, actually. Got a few of these joints. But anyway, yeah, it's real. This shit is real, man. And we gotta keep it 100 with ourselves, as far as not being ignorant to the fact of. I'm hoping everybody's working and grinding out there. I know a lot of people been laid off, been affected from this, and I'm wishing everybody success and to get back to grinding and doing your thing. But at the end of the day, none of us wanted this. None of us expected this. And we just got to do our thing to get through it. And I believe we will. We're doing our thing now to bounce back everybody around the country. And I just hope and pray that there will be some type of considered normalcy. I know I'm going to be having my mask on when I go outside for quite some time, even after the pandemic. Now, if we start seeing the numbers go away, then maybe we can get back to not having masks. I don't know, in 20, maybe in 2023, 24, 25, something like that. But don't look like it's going away no time soon. And I wonder how it was back when the flu pandemic first happened, the Spanish flu. How did they handle that? Because, I mean, the flu is still around, but it's contained and it doesn't kill people rapidly or affect them rapidly like how this coronavirus is. But now we just gotta keep pushing and keep going. Now, switch gears a little bit. I want to talk about first of all, I want to talk about all 4 major sports, how they've been getting through this pandemic and actually playing professional sports. And it's wild to see because obviously when the pandemic first happened, it was right in the middle of the NBA season and the NHL season, and they had to stop it completely, which was smart on their part because you didn't know what was going on, and we decided to take a pause and say, okay, what are we gonna do? So, now seeing how all the NBA got their bubble, NHL got their bubble, got through their championship rounds and crowned a champion, and getting through the MLB season, they crowned a champion. Congrats to the Dodgers, congrats to the Lakers, and congrats to the I don't follow hockey too much, but I think it was Tampa that won, Tampa Bay hockey team. Sorry, I'm not a hockey fan, so I don't really follow it. I paid attention a little bit, but we really smack dab in the middle of the NFL season right now, and it's been interesting to see. There's been some NFL teams that have had a little bit of an outbreak, where there's been some teams where they had to quarantine, but they're getting through it. They've had some teams have had to take an early bye week. The Steelers and the Titans, shout out to them. They've had to take an early bye week, and some players just had to quarantine and come back. But they've been getting through it. And early on, people didn't think that we'd be able to get through, but I think we are. I think we're gonna get to a Super Bowl. We're gonna crown a champion. I see that happening. We about to go into. Everybody's played at least 8 games. That's half of the season, and just watching how all 4 leagues handle this is pretty amazing. They've had to adapt just like the general public has had to adapt. Now, it's obviously certain professions that had no choice but to stop working because of the pandemic and still can't. But as a whole, I think a lot of people have adapted and shown really how resilient we really are because we've had no choice. And some cats, depending on where you come from, you've been doing that your whole life anyway. So just seeing that so many people have done it is astounding to watch, including myself. I've had no choice but to adapt. So yeah, but yeah, the NFL season has been pretty good. And one thing I noticed too, I don't think it's just been this year, but especially this year, a lot of the rookies are playing better than they've ever have, especially with no training camp, none of that. No preseason to really prepare like that, just basically thrown right to the wolves and they're getting right to it. But they've been doing their thing, like Joe Burrow dude in Cincinnati, what's his name, Tua just starting now, and what's the dude in the Chargers, Gilbert, I forgot dude. But yeah, they all been doing their thing. Rookie quarterbacks, just seeing that, I think that's gonna be one of the things that stood out to me as far as the NFL season, how well the rookies are playing, which despite the limited reps they've had. And overall, just there hasn't been many blowouts. There hasn't been many like boring games. Like, I mean, there's been teams in the past where it was just ugly to watch, where it'd be like a Jags or Browns, where it's like 10-3, where there hasn't really been many games like that. I mean, there's been blowouts. There's been a few blowouts, but as a whole, there hasn't really been. Even the bad teams are putting up points. I just thought that was interesting. Just looking at that because there really hasn't been teams playing like even the teams that are like even the Jets who are 0-9, they still put up 27 points last week. So nobody's having like a 7-3 game or 13-8 or 13-10 game like that. Those games are so unwatchable. Nowadays it's like wow, everybody's doing their thing on the field. I mean, there's obviously you can see the difference in great quarterback play between somebody like Aaron Rodgers or a Sam Darnold. You clearly see the difference, or Patrick Mahomes or Joe Flacco. You clearly see the difference from a great quarterback throw to average quarterback play. I mean, you clearly see the difference, but a lot of these guys still competing and grinding, and it's wild to see that. And I know my preseason pick to go to the bowl was New Orleans and Kansas City. I still feel pretty strongly about that. Even though my team is a Packer fan, like I would love to see Green Bay go. And I'm being from my hometown, Buffalo, I would love to see the Bills go, but I don't see that happening. Unfortunately, just being real, I don't see that shit happening. But as a whole, I still think that's probably gonna happen. New Orleans gotta get their shit together when they get to the playoffs. Green Bay, it's either to me gonna be either New Orleans or Green Bay gonna come out of the NFC. I don't think it's gonna be Tampa or Seattle. I think it's between them two, and I still think Kansas City got the AFC. I don't think nobody can fuck with them in the AFC. I just don't. Like, they got so many people number right now. Patrick Mahomes doing his thing, Andy Reid still coaching his ass off, and weapons everywhere. Like, yeah, they legit again. I think they're gonna go back to back. I don't know if they're gonna win the Super Bowl, but I think I really believe they're gonna get there again. Yeah, so yeah, we in here. It's another week, and it's been a little while. I'm just seeing like, cause I've been approaching things differently after having COVID, just way more cautious now on how close I get to people, and I don't want to be like claustrophobic or nothing like that, or people crowding my space, nothing like that. But man, I'm real extra cautious now. Oh, I'm moving out here, and I want to see some sense of what will be, I guess, considered normal. But is really anything normal? What is normal? I used to just ask that question, like, what is normal? But yeah, whatever. Will we ever consider normal life before? Or will we ever get back to that? Next time on Dragon Ball Z, we'll see. But anyway, before I get up out of here, last thing I want to touch on is some TV shows I've been watching. I know I'm late. I want to talk about Insecure right quick and a couple others. Insecure, I had no idea. Like, maybe because I didn't have HBO for a while. I heard people talk about the show, that it was good, but like, that show was dope as fuck. Like, I can't even front. Like, Issa Rae, she did her thing with that show. Like, that show, like, I love it because, for one, it's super relatable to me. I think especially if you black, but I think it's relatable not just to black people, but to a lot of people. Because it shows like ups and downs of relationship, insecurities, people being on. I think they on the show they honest with themselves and showing how people have insecurities within themselves and having to overcome that. And through all life, and they show like people like going to events and stuff and going to different how in the show the ups and downs of the relationship, going through like the stresses of jobs, like that's all real shit that really happened. So I think that's what stood out to me. the most because you got a lot of these shows that are dope and exciting, but it's not like super relatable. Like you look at it on screen and say, "Oh yeah, I think that's something I can relate and been through." Like Insecure is like one of the first shows I've seen in a long time that I've seen that's like super relatable. Like and it's dope. The storyline is amazing. Like I don't know if she got co-writers on there, but Issa Rae, she did her thing with that show, and all the actors are dope. Um, Overall, I binge watched it and I can't wait for season 5. I'm looking forward to it, and I'm super late to that show. I didn't start watching it until this year, 2020. I had no idea that that show was dope like that, but I'm glad I did start watching it, and the show was amazing. And another show that I did know about from HBO, my cousin actually put me onto it years ago, Curb Your Enthusiasm. Now to me, I think that show is probably an acquired taste. It, like that type of humor. Like there's some goofy shit in there, which I like. I think it's hilarious. Oh, it's like Larry David. I was never a big Seinfeld fan, which is funny. 'Cause he worked on Seinfeld with Jerry Seinfeld. But Curb Your Enthusiasm, yeah, that's my shit. And him and the JB Smooth like on there, like yeah, it's hilarious to me. And they just had a season 10, and that's another show I'm looking forward to coming back. Uh, yeah, I'm looking forward to the next season. That show been going on for a minute too. I know they took a little hiatus, but it's back. It looks like it's still in full effect. But yeah, that's another one. I can't wait. But that Insecure, that show is lit. Definitely suggest checking that out. But and shout out to Lovecraft Country too. That's a dope show on HBO too. I wasn't sure how I felt about it at first, but it's actually a really good storyline and it's dope. And also too, a little older show. They put Dave Chappelle on Netflix. Chappelle Show. They put it on Netflix. And as I started watching a few episodes of that recently. I'm like, man, this show really could have. I feel like this show could have been like a 8 to 10 season show. Like to me, it was that good. And I feel like Dave Chappelle is super creative. He had a great team in place. He had great people working with him. And man, it's unfortunate that that show didn't last too long. I know they had a season 3 that with a couple episodes. To me, that didn't count. It was really only 2 seasons, really. But as I look at it, I'm like, man, that show really, really should have lasted way longer than it did. Because I always fuck with the Chappelle show. I fuck with Dave Chappelle, the comedian, and the actor. But yeah, I feel like the Chappelle show should have lasted way longer than it did. That show was absolutely hilarious, and I'm glad they added it on Netflix finally. But yeah, that's gonna be it for me this week. And as always, I really appreciate you for whoever listening out there, wherever you at. Stay safe, stay COVID free, stay sucker free. That's one thing. I don't fuck with suckers either, so stay from around me. Stay fake people free too. I don't like being around phonies or fake people, so they can be gone as well. But other than that, hope everybody's healthy. Stay blessed, stay focused, and we gonna get through this thing. And this has been another episode of the What's the Word with LJ Mental Podcast. Appreciate you joining me. I'm LJ, and I'm out.